top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, which of these options would you choose? Would you like a life filled with questions, or a life filled with answers? Now, I'm sure probably a lot of us would probably go for the second option, because we would have found that those questions we have, they would have been answered. And yet a lot of us are probably going to end our life with more questions than answers. We're going to have questions like, should I have asked that girl out? Should I have stayed in that job? Should I have worked so hard? Should I have got kids? Should I have moved away? Should I have stayed in this country? All those different questions. Now, sometimes we don't or will never have an answer to those questions because it was probably the other option of what we chose at the time. But then there's other questions that could have been easily answered. But the reason we don't answer those questions is due to fear. You know, I'm sure if I asked you to tell me what your ideal life would be like, you know, where would you live? What would you look like? What would your bank balance be? I'm sure you could paint me a pretty picture. I'm sure it would sound amazing. But I'm sure that ideal life is far, far different than where you are right now. It's almost like we had the whole globe to ourselves. And what we do is we just build a small prison cell for ourselves. We build those walls good and high and we just stay inside it due to fear. And it's crazy when you think about it. You know, when we have so much talent, so much ideas, so many things that we can do, we just switch it all off. We just, you know, keep small, not try any of those things. Now, I remember reading one time that someone had said that fear is false evidence appearing real. But what I'd say as well too is that fear is feeling empty about reality. Because when you think about it, the things that we are probably the most fearful about are probably things that we would like to do. You know, you might be fearful of writing a book. But you're probably not fearful of jumping out of a plane because maybe jumping out of a plane isn't on your radar. It's not something that you wanted to do. But a small thing like writing a book, you're fearful about it. And you're going to end up going the whole way through your life never answering that question. And there'll always be kind of an empty spot in you of what might have been, of not writing that book, of not finding out, could you write a book? Would it have made a difference in your life and in the lives of other people? You know, a lot of us are going to, as I said, end this life with more questions and answers. But also I think almost like a jigsaw piece. You know, we're going to have pieces missing of us. Pieces that we really want to know the answer to. You know, maybe right now you would like to have a podcast, or maybe you would like to be a writer, or maybe you'd like to have an online business, or, you know, maybe TikTok videos, so whatever it is. And, you know, because you're saying no, or because you're given, you know, fear control over you, you're going to go through your life with that hole in you, that gap that was never filled. And I think that's really sad that, you know, living a life with wondering, what if? What if I had done it? You know, what if I written that book? What if I asked that girl out? You know, I think that what if, I think, can really, really mess with your head because you just replay it over and over again and you'll never get the answer to that question. You know, even if you wrote the most horrible book, the worst book ever, you only sold maybe 2 copies, one to your mother and one to maybe your best friend. But at least you would have scratched that itch. At least you would have said to yourself, well, I've got the answer to that question. I did write a book, it wasn't great, but at least I know the answer to that question. Rather than maybe going all the way through your life with that hole, never knowing what the answer could have been, and it kind of slowly eating away at you. And I don't want that happening to you. I don't want you to go to your grave with, you know, more questions than answers. And as I said, like, the things that we are probably the most fearful about are things that we really, really want. We want to stand up on stage. We want to sing. We want to write. We want to do whatever it is, perform, whatever it is. But it's us that's holding ourselves back. You know, it's almost like I could give you a brand new car today, full of gas, and I could give you the keys and say, go wherever you want. And then I watch you get out of the car, and when I watch you dig up the road, you put holes in it, you put obstructions on the road, and you block your path, because you're scared of driving down that road. You want to go to that place, but you also don't want to go to that place. Which is really weird when you think about it. You know that there's so much we can do, and there's so much we won't allow ourselves to do. Like right now, I'm not stopping you writing a book. If anything, I would love you to write a book, or I would love you to podcast. I would love you to do videos on YouTube. You know, I would be standing in the sideline cheering you on, saying, yes, you can do it. But it's you that's holding you back. It's really dumb, isn't it, when you think about it, that you are holding yourself back. And you're worried about other people. You know, when I look back at those moments when I held myself back, I was worried what would happen. You know, what if I did ask that girl out? What if everybody started laughing behind my back? But I know, you know, for those moments of people laughing at me, it would have only probably been maybe a couple of seconds of embarrassment, but I would have had that question answered. And, you know, whatever that you would like to do, if you are fearful, you're probably guaranteed that that fearful moment is probably only going to last a couple of seconds, maybe a couple of minutes. And then you've done it. It's over and done with. And when you think about it, that's really a small amount of time. Rather than on the other side, spending years and years and years pondering over that question. What if, what if, what if? Again, as I said, I don't want you to be like that. I want you to scratch that itch. I want you to ignore other people. Imagine you are the only person in the world right now. And write your book for you. Record your videos for you. Do your podcast for you. Create your online business for you. And see what happens after that. You will be, at least you'll know, you know, at least you'll have an answer to that question if you could have done it. And if it blows up in your face, it blows up in your face. But at least it's something marked off your list. Something that is never going to be at the back of your mind anymore. It'll be something else that'll probably be annoying you that you haven't taken action on. So don't let fear grab you. And when you get to the end of this life, I do hope that you have more answers than questions. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Before you go, Barry would like to give you a free copy of Words to Wealth. In it, he's going to show you 10 ways to make money from writing. Head on over to writecome.com now for your copy. Have a great day and come back soon.